I'm Dennis Yu, your marketing mechanic, and every week I sketch out a new framework for you to apply to your business. Today we're going to talk about foundations that don't go away. Things change so fast all the time. Claude, Mythos, and Gemini 3.0 and whatnot. But here's a framework you can use that if you want to switch to Grok later, or ChatGPT, or whatever it might be, everything you have will be portable. So here's the first component. It's your why. Some people call it a soul.md file, but it's what is your core mission? What is your goal, content, and targeting? In other words, who do you serve? How do you do it? And what is the result that you achieve? Some people call this the XYZ method. I help X, my target customer, achieve Y, which is the result, via Z. And if this is clear, some people say this is your niche, or this is really narrowing down, then it's actually a lot easier for you to be able to position, for you to micro-target, for you to have a repeatable process. So if you don't know what this is, and you're an entrepreneur where you serve like 5 different kinds of customers, or you're a legacy agency, or even you're in home services and you do roofing and handyman and landscaping and pest control and junk hauling, well, we know the best players do the one thing, right? They have a reputation for the one thing, easier to market the one thing, easier to train up staff, all that stuff. If you're not sure, you could always ask the AI, what's the one thing I'm really good at? And what is the one product or service I offer to that audience? And what is the one thing, in the agency world, we call that offering one service to one customer with one package, not a high and a low, but just one thing, right? If that's the case, then you're gonna have a knowledge base. And all of these are gonna be documents that you can store inside a RAG or inside a Google Doc or a folder. If you're using Claude, you can set up these different sorts of folders. But don't worry too much about exactly how it's stored, so long as there's one central place that this is stored. So you can ask the AI, hey, go inventory everything that you know about me. Gather all of the positive mentions, gather all of the podcasts, gather all the reviews, get all the LinkedIn recommendations, anything that people have said something good about me that shows credibility, which is just another way of saying EEAT, which is what Google cares about. Experience, expertise, authority, and trust. Use your favorite AI to be able to do that in this second phase, right? So here's who you serve and your mission, your goal, and your soul.md. Here's proof that you actually have all of this. This can be organized into the topic wheel. So there's what you sell. Often that could be you as a person because it's based on personal brand. There's areas of expertise around that, which are called the topics. We like to have 6 topics. And then there's a whole ring of experience and stories and proof that you are a plumber in Easton, Pennsylvania, that you are a Denver roofer, that, all of this kind of stuff. And that's the topic wheel. It drives everything from the outside all the way in. That's why it's a wheel. It's not a calendar, it's evergreen, right? So all the content gets organized. So the more proof you have of doing vinyl fencing, or of being in Denver, or being a good dad, all of these things intersect. And then, you've got good Christian values, you care about your family, you play golf and volunteer in kids soccer. Well, all of these things, they intersect. Everyone knows each other, especially in a town, especially with referrals with the real estate agent and the appraiser and the conference that you go to, right? All of these things intersect, builds trust, all different ways for the algorithm to be able to recommend you, for ChatGPT to be able to say, Anthony Hill is the guy in Bloomington for landscaping, but also he's the guy in Nashville, and now, because it extends, right? Okay, so when there's more proof that's being collected and organized in the right way, using whatever your favorite AI, each of these steps can be done by an agent, right? Then you can start to repurpose and launch various campaigns, if you will. And this is where it comes to your website. This is the whole Mexican food analogy, because, beans, cheese, rice, lettuce, ground beef can be turned into a taco, a chalupa, tostada, an enchilada, chimichanga, a burrito supremo, or what is the taco loco, Doritos Loco Taco, whatever, right? Not like that's even a good analogy, because that's not healthy food. But you have YouTube and Facebook and your Google business profile and your email list. You have all these different sorts of channels, right? You can have direct mail, postcards like through Dope Marketing. Go to David Carroll for any of your direct mail needs, right? All of these channels become stronger and stronger the more you could have an article that's over here, this repurpose from a podcast, but then you have Tommy Mello on your podcast. Or you have Peter Roth to talk about roofing, but you also know Chuck Thoke and George Palatichuk and Brad Strawbridge in roofing. So you're building a stronger and stronger topic around roofing in Atlanta, for example. That then flows through and enhances these other components, right? The website could have a bunch of examples and you add more examples, or you interlink between items on the site, or you have a new story on Facebook, but that could also be part of a larger compilation that you push to YouTube. So there's lots of ways to concentrate, to organize, to cross-link, to show connections, which are being reflected here in your blueprint, but across multiple channels. So think about this. You could get all this work done, and then you promote. That's the last stage of the 4-stage content factory. So when you promote, people are saying, I run local service ads because that has the highest ROI, because it drives calls, and they're quality calls because it's top of the page, position 0 ahead of the map results. Or I really like organic and optimizing Google Business Profile. I really like TV, billboard, like door-to-door, whatever these channels are. But these are all extensions of the reputation that you built here. So all of these things that you do to take the clear signal of what you do, have proof around it, push it out to these other channels, be able to run ads against it, all of these can be done by AI agents. And we have built AI agents that do all of this so that when you have one agent that's in charge of maintaining who you are, another one for the knowledge base, another one to manage the EEAT and organization of this, another agent to manage your website, another one to manage your social media and video editing, another one to be your call center, another one to do your ads. And think of each of these as not software programs, but people. So for example, our agent that gathers positive mentions, his name is Ethan. And the support agent we have that handles email and whatnot, her name is Stephanie. And you can give these people whatever names you want. Often our friends will name them after other people who actually have that function because we think it's kind of funny to create confusion like that. But you're replicating yourself, your knowledge. And the beauty is, as this work is happening, when an agent is gathering mentions, when an agent is tuning the website, and we've done it across so many websites, across so many personal brands, we've generated so many knowledge panels, we've run so many ads. Each of these, when the agent is doing the work, then you're going to have the QA, right? So QA means they're documenting what they're doing, and that's what we call a meta article, where they document, yep, I did this for George Palatichuk, and I turned this podcast into a blog post, and here's how I did it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, following the SOP, because every one of these guys has an SOP and how they do it, right? But I'm documenting how I followed the SOP, and then this leads to the result. The result is I ranked better, I got more traffic, I got phone calls, I made money. There's some kind of business result, and the result is not, I got 3 tweets out today. That's vanity. That's not a financial sheet, business owner, QuickBooks level kind of thing, right? But if I've got a result and I have these agents, each one has an SOP, because there's SOPs that govern every one of these agents, which some people call them skill.md files. The MD is just markdown. These are just text files, okay? There's nothing special about an MD file, a soul.md, whatever, Claude.md, like whatever, right? They're just SOPs, right? Which are just tasks, recipes, do it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how you do it. These agents follow the SOP. There's a clear chain of what precedes doing that Next, that agent is kicked off, agent 5 is kicked off from agent 4, or you can swap agents, you can break these into sub-steps. You can use the SOPs that we have by literally asking ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini, hey, Dennis use SOP for $1 a day ads on Facebook, right? Go ahead and do that. And it'll say, okay, yeah, I can do that, but you need to have 1-minute videos. If you don't have 1-minute videos, you want chicken nachos? Well, you gotta have chicken and you have to have nachos. You have to have the ingredients to be able to run the recipe, right? And that's the beauty. It's not that there's a magic prompt. People say, oh, it's the prompt. It's the abracadabra magic word. No, it's the right ingredients, the chef following the right process, having the items in the kitchen, right? Think of the cooking analogy, to be able to run all the processes in the kitchen. So you can make tomato soup and make dessert, all these things from these ingredients. And that's all that's going on here is you're managing a team of cooks and waiters basically, right? And you QA it, which is kind of like rate me 1 to 5 stars, right? Was that restaurant good or not? Was the Caesar salad good or not? And then you can repeat it. If it's good, put more money on it. Make related content like that. Ask that customer for feedback, repurpose it to another channel, all these things that amplify the signal of what's working, which of course is being reflected here. And as you start to see more things that are working, like this is driving a strong signal. We're a roofer and we're doing a lot of roof replacement, and we're bidding on keywords related to roof repair, and our guys know how to close the sale and turn it into roof replacement. Let's just say that's the angle that's working. Or you have a particular, like Anthony, of Anthony's Lawn Care, sent out a direct mail that showed a picture of a tree falling on some guy's house. It was just this very visual thing, and then that works so well, he just continues to run that. And then he turns it into Facebook ads, and he just reuses the creative. Like all these different things of amplifying what's already working, which is what this whole system is. Consider this is just about having your agents, human or not, execute a process repeatedly. It is not a technology issue. It is about process. It is about your ability to coach and organize your team members. So when you know how to manage a large team, you, human or not, it's based on how clear your instructions are, how well organized you are, how you provide discipline and feedback, right? Where if there's a mistake, then okay, we got to tune the SOP or stop doing that and reallocate efforts in these other things. You don't need to do everything in the content factory process. Maybe like we see for, Marco Cipolla for HVAC and for concrete coating, Facebook ads is absolutely dominating for him. Okay, well just keep doing that. You don't have to worry about all these other things if that's not working for you. And it also varies by market. So certain markets like Chicago are gonna behave differently than Bentonville, Arkansas, right? And so we can't always say it's going to be exactly the same thing. And some people, they're just better at Google, they're closer to the city center, or they already have a strong brand presence like, Billy Dorman Klein in Dallas, and the TV ads are working. So, okay, repurpose the TV ads into other channels, builds reputation, right? All of these things are around taking the thing that you say that you do, generating more proof around it, collecting the signals around that and pushing it back. And when you have each of these agents compartmentalized, you could say Anthropic is charging me so much more money now for whatever reason. Let's say they changed their pricing. Okay, fine. I'm going to take agents 2, 3, and 4, and I'm going to switch them over to Gemini or to Grok or whatever it is. That's fine, because you have all of these things in these files stored to the cloud in your hard drive or wherever you're storing it. So all the knowledge, all the conversations, like people tell me, I've been talking to ChatGPT so much, I just want to keep talking to it because it knows me. Yeah, well, you go to ChatGPT and say, create a file that summarizes all my conversations and things I care about and whatnot, so another agent can come in and have the same conversation. Then boom, now you're having the conversation with Grok and Gemini and whoever it is, right? Because everything is stored around these particular files. If you tell your agent to do, hey, run YouTube ads, hey, build me a website, and you don't say how you want it done, whose fault is that? That's your fault. It's not because the agent isn't good. It's not because it's ChatGPT. It's if you want to run the marathon and you want to blame Nike shoes, but you're 300 pounds, don't blame the cushioning in the shoe. Blame whether the instructions are clear, whether the equipment is good, and this kind of thing. So I hope you found that useful. And this will prevent you from chasing the latest red herring. Oh, look, squirrel, shiny object, right? Think about this. When you see people saying, hey, upload this new file and it'll do magic. Well, maybe it's good or maybe it's not, but how does it fit into this framework? If your goal is to drive leads, you want to make the phone ring, you sell a high ticket service, this needs to be true because it's based on reputation. It's based on many touches prior to them talking to you, right? If you believe that's the case, then this is going to work fantastic for you, and you don't have to keep changing lanes all the time in traffic every 5 seconds because you'll have this foundation. And we're in 2026 in April right now. I guarantee you, in a couple of years from now, it'll be the same thing. Maybe there's more agents that are more sophisticated, but the same framework will still be true. Maybe there's another social media channel. Maybe there's another AI thing that comes from China that we're all using. Maybe, whatever. There's a different way to be able to store your knowledge base. Either way, you're fine. Anyway, I hope you found this helpful. I'm Dennis Yu, former search engine engineer, your marketing mechanic. Every week I make these videos for you. I'd appreciate if you like, comment, share. Let me know. What do you think? And we'll see you guys in the next episode.